we are showing projections for the Northeast. Yes, about 15 to out of 15 seats that we have projected so far, 13 for the NDA. And I'm going to show Assam first. 14 seats in Assam, NDA 10 to 13, I.N.D.I.Alliance 2 to 5, AIUDF 0 to 1. So how do you see these projections for the state of Assam? This is a state under Himanta Biswa Sarma. He has been speaking a lot about how he's making it easier for companies to do business in the state of Assam. He's getting semiconductor makers there. He's going to come up with a new defense policy. Do you think all of that has worked in the BJP's favor in Assam, if these numbers were to hold true?
I think your figures are probably quite correct as far as Assam is concerned. They certainly won't get less than 10, in my view, maybe 11. And I think it's a mix of Mr. Sarma's own style of politics and campaigning and the narrative, which has drawn support. I mean, there's opposition as well. There's not saying anything about that. There is opposition, but I think the BJP has a clear edge in a majority of the seats there. And also, if we're talking about the Northeast as a whole, I think they're going to do fairly well in the other states as well. Although I think it's much more challenging. It's much more challenging. I've just come from Mizoram and Meghalaya. It's much more challenging than was anticipated. I think in Meghalaya, they're having a very tough fight. It's an alliance. The NPP, the BJP is not contesting. And I think they really have the work cut out for them.
Right. What do you think is going to be the performance like across the Northeast? We are yet to show numbers for the other states, but if states like Manipur were to be asked about, Tripura, Nagaland, Mizoram, how do you see the opposition and the NDA performing here?
I think Mizoram will probably definitely go to the non-BJP, non-Congress ZPM. I think that's fairly clear. I think the Tripura will go very much with the BJP, both seats. Manipur is going to be interesting and challenging. You have a professor from JNU as the Congress candidate. His father was also in the Congress, contesting against the BJP candidate. And the state government and its support staff have thrown everything into it. But there is, I think, a great deal of challenge to the BJP on that, because the opposition candidate is raising a lot of issues that people on the ground are feeling. Unhappiness about inflation, livelihoods, etc. I think it's fairly straightforward about Nagaland and Arunachal. But as far as Sikkim is concerned, I'd be very surprised if Mr. Chamling's party, which is now in the opposition, doesn't win in the MP seat, definitely, and probably there's an anti-incumbency sense there as well against the current regime.
Right. Mr. Bhattacharya, if we were to ask you about the 7 phases, the Prime Minister has just tweeted to say that I want to thank voters, and I'm convinced that people have overwhelmingly voted in favor of the NDA. The I.N.D.I.Alliance put up a strong show in that press conference earlier today, saying that we're going to win 295 plus. That is what Mallikarjun Kharge, the chairperson of the India bloc, went on to say. How do you see the confidence of the opposition at this juncture?
Well, I think, it is indeed a puzzle if you try to judge the opposition mood by these exit poll numbers. It's a fact that exit polls do indicate a broad trend, but they have often underestimated or overestimated the actual results by some margins. But broadly, if you look at whether it is the 2009 exit polls or the 2014 exit polls or even 2019 exit polls, um, these polls give you a broad sense of what may finally eventually happen, barring some state assembly election exit polls which have surprised you. I am a little surprised, and it makes me wonder that if there is something that is in the works or something that is not been captured by these exit poll surveys. The fact is that even if assuming that these exit poll survey results turn out to be broadly in the same direction, and you have a third term for the BJP running, you will still need the opposition bloc to get together and discuss what would be the strategy going forward. Because the performance, it seems to me, from these numbers is going to be little better than what it was in 2019. So you will not see an opposition that was quite rudderless in 2019. You will see a different kind of an opposition, which is a little more energetic and energized by these results, which are clearly showing that they may not have, if these results, these exit polls do turn out to be correct, they may not have overthrown the ruling party, but they have gained seats, they have done better. It will be good for democracy also, because in a democracy, you do need a strong opposition. You want a stable government, but at the same time, you need strong opposition if for the democracy to bear the right results.